Mankind has been rebelling over Mother Nature for ages. This curious trait has been present in the human race since man set the very first bonfire ablaze. But over the past 10 years, natural disasters have been occurring much more frequently and violently than in the past. So instead of antagonizing Mother Nature by thinking of humans as the center of the universe, the human race should adjust its perception by living in harmony with nature. There are many lessons to be learned in the aftermath of Super Typhoon Yolanda, which devastated one of our ASEAN neighbors and sent shockwaves throughout the region and the rest of the world. So join us on Spirit of Asia as we follow a courageous group of Thai volunteers who are determined to get the residents of the Philippines back on their feet once again. Typhoon City. In addition to being the surname of the renowned Filipino boxing champion, Pacquiao means typhoon. With a strength and intensity of up to 315 kilometers an hour, while pegging the extremely powerful tropical cyclone scale at 5, Super Typhoon Haiyan, also known as Yolanda in the Philippines, is one of the strongest tropical cyclones ever recorded. On November 8, 2013, Super Typhoon Yolanda struck the Visayas in the central Philippines. The most affected area was Takloan on the island of Leyte. Eight months later, one of the first to help was a Thai group, which volunteered to assist the victims. Mr. Ratapum Uprom, or Kun Tong, the founder of the 1,500 Mile Foundation, is returning to the Philippines to see how the local residents are recovering. Here in Barangay 68 of Takloan, this area has been renamed Yolanda Village. With such a violent and furious storm, 10 cargo ships were tossed ashore by the storm surge. Eight of those were in barangays 68, 69, and 70, where it is very difficult to get the ships back to the sea because the spaces have been filled up with newly built residences. Even though these houses are only very basic structures, the local residents are pleased to call them home. In order to prevent the reoccurrence of a natural disaster tragedy in this region, the Philippine government has issued a law prohibiting the construction of any structure within a designated danger zone of 40 meters from the coast. However, some meteorological experts believe that 40 meters is not nearly a safe enough distance to protect the local people from the devastation of a tsunami or other violent tropical storm. Another alternative to receiving help from a volunteer foundation are new homes, such as Barangay Pago Village in Takloan Water District, which is not far from Takloan.
Aro balikan di katulukan wala kami di kadwa kapalapa. Bila na kami
11 o'clock in the morning or in the evening?
morning.
In the morning,
Pwede.
the water started to come in, so they had to run to a higher building, third floor, because the water was rising. And then after a few minutes, the third floor of the house collapsed.
Yes, bumabaliwat kami nga dihan ikadwa kandana.
And then so they had to rush to the second floor.
Tapos nag-anod na ang mga gamit namin na inaro. Sumulog naman ang tubig hagawas.
And then they were just washed away by the floods.
Dagnas na ang mga dara ng mga bano.
Everything, even their clothes, washed up.
There is a good chance they might have to be placed on a long waiting list and help to build their new house. These women have been pumping underground water for use in construction. Women like to give a helping hand while the men toil away on millwork and smithery. Many of the local residents are hoping that they can soon move into a new stable home, which is stronger and more durable. But some of them are still here, right on the coast, where they feel it's easier to make a living than further inland. This is Barangay San Roque. Super Typhoon Yolanda destroyed many houses and their surroundings here, but did not dim the hope of the residents for a better life. This man is building a new home from the remnants of destroyed houses in the same area where his old home used to stand. Tragically, Typhoon Yolanda took this man's wife from him. Her body is buried beside their house. Now his life is preoccupied with caring for his 4 children, but sorrow never leaves his mind. Many generations of Filipinos have settled in Barangay San Roque in order to make a living as fishermen. These sea people have absolutely no fear of the ocean. So even though they are aware of the massive destruction that Typhoon Yolanda brought to this barangay, they still insist on living close to the sea.
Siyempre labi kunat na lawod sugad yan nga mabalod kinahanglan
Ulo na butiyan.
amo to na ano ni mo ngaran Rodel. Mr. Rodel says that the name of the motorboat in the local language is Baltic, and it has katig or outrigger wings in order that in the deep sea it will not capsize, so that it will have good balance. They will be safe in the sea. All of their boats were destroyed, nothing left, and what you see now, as you will see, they are newly painted boats. They were donated by several organizations from all over the world. I can see there is from China, from Japan, even from places like Turkey and in the Middle East, as well as I've seen names coming from Europe.
In the aftermath of Yolanda, the volunteers evaluated the victims' essential needs. So on this trip, Kuntong and the 1,500-mile team have decided to prioritize the victims who need a place to live.
วันหนึ่งเราก็เดินทางกลับมาจากประเทศไทยพร้อมกันกับเต็นท์ซึ่งเรามีมาประมาณ300เต็นท์และไอ้เต็นท์เนี่ยเราภูมิใจมากเพราะว่ามันเป็นสิ่งที่เรานำมาไกลแล้วกว่าจะขนขึ้น C130 หรือว่า430มาจนถึงนี่นะมันไม่ใช่ง่ายๆเราก็เลยเดินทางย้อนกลับเข้ามาและมองหาจุดเล็กๆที่มันจะสามารถเติมเข้าไปในสังคมของผู้ที่ประสบภัยพิบัติได้นั่นก็คือหมายความว่าเรามองหาโฮมเลส
Many of the tragic victims of Yolanda are lucky enough to have a few friends who stop by to ease their troubled minds. This comforting display of solidarity in the face of a crisis does wonders to calm them down.
Thank you very much to you, my friend. You know,
You're welcome.
I love you very much.
Filipino and Thailander is the same.
Yeah. I'm the 65. How can you? How can I get that? Diba? You know, you help me.
Why did you cry?
ผมพาดูร้านของการเต้นนี่เรากางเต้นตรงนี้ครับนี่ลกหมดละ How are you? Fine. You remember me?
You come back.
No.
I remember you.
This opportunity enables them to catch up with one another, as old friends like to do. When it's time to say goodbye, they promise to see each other again without ever saying a word. In addition to the emotional reward of giving help and receiving gratitude, another precious gift the volunteers receive in return is friendship. In terms of the number of lives claimed, Typhoon Yolanda ranks as the second worst natural disaster in the history of the Philippines. The cemeteries beside churches are filled with the bodies of Yolanda's victims. Even medians on roads have been used as makeshift graveyards.
There's no more space in the cemetery, in the regular cemetery. So most of the graves around here were just put here because they couldn't find the space anymore because there was too much there.
Now we move on to the Barangay Tinabanan refugee camp at Marabut City, with honored facilitation from the UNHCR, the United Nations High Commission for Refugees of the Philippines Takloan office. This is the home of the Mamanwa people. The Mamanwas are an ancient African ethnicity living outside of Africa. Their ancestors emigrated from Africa through India into Australia and finally settled in the south of Leyte Island. Their parents' generation once emigrated because of war, and again in their generation, they were forced to move due to occasional natural disasters.
Actually, they don't really know much on the area where they came from because that's their parents who was able to see their place of origin, but then these people, they were born here. They live here and they had their family here on their own. So they don't have memories of their where their mothers and father came from.
Thank you.
After their habitats were totally wiped away by Yolanda, they settled in a new location, far away from the danger zone. All of the Mamanwa people hope that this is their last migration. Living in the forest makes their life just as simple as it was in the past. They generally grow root vegetables, such as taro and cassava as their staple foods, and they still hunt. Also, organizations come by occasionally to donate rice.
เนี่ยเขาจะกินหัวเผือกหัวมันแล้วก็นิยมปลูกไก่บ้านในป่าปลูกแทรกไปในป่าเลยแล้วเวลาเขาขุดกินเนี่ยเขาจะไม่ลื้อทั้งต้นดึงทั้งต้นออกมาต้นก็ยังอยู่เหมือนเดิมเขาก็จะเอาเสียมเนี่ยค่อยๆขุดลากจนเจอหัวที่เขาต้องการแล้วเขาก็จะแซะตัดเฉพาะหัวเนี่ยมาต้นก็ยังอยู่แล้วก็มันก็จะแตกออกมาใหม่จะเป็นอย่างเงี้ยนะครับกลุ่มชาติพันธุ์นี้จะเหมือนกันหมดในแถบอาเซียนที่อยู่ตามหมู่เกาะก็จะมี2ชนกลุ่มใหญ่ๆก็คือ1ก็คือจะอยู่ริมทะเลอีกกลุ่มหนึ่งก็คือจะอยู่ในป่าถ้าอย่างภาษาอินโดนีเซียเขาเรียกว่าออรันอัสรีก็คือคนที่อยู่ในป่าเป็นถ้าบ้านเราก็จะเรียกเป็นซาไก
Ini tinanong adi buyo adi sa guba ini nga guba pa ini kay nagkaiba-iba ini nga buyo adi tinanong adi sa uma sa guwa ini nga pambuyo.
Ms. Nomar is describing how to make quicklime from freshwater shells. The shells are burnt with fire and then they are ground down. That's how quicklime for chewing is made with beetle palm without spending any money. As we travel from the barangay and the forest back to the city, we are joined by this small girl who has had a high temperature for several days. Her parents finally managed to take her to see a doctor in Takloan city. It is with a heavy heart that we say goodbye to the UNHCR officers, the little girl, and her family. Samar Island is a surfer's paradise. Tourists from around the world come to the beaches in this region to enjoy the fantastic waves of the Pacific Ocean, especially at Takloan Island, which is just off the southeastern point of Samar Island.
So how about the house? This is your house?
Yeah, this is our house from the surfers, local surfers here.
This is the old
New.
one?
No,
The new?
this is the new one. Because the old one is in the beach, near from the beach, so that's why it was out. It's because of the wave, big wave.
What are you doing here?
It's surfing.
Surfing?
Yeah.
Surfing teacher?
Yeah, surfing, yeah.
Wow, so cool.
I love surfing.
In the aftermath of Typhoon Yolanda, travelers have come back to surf off the coast of Samar Island. There are coconut trees along the beaches and resorts to welcome the tourists, who need a bit more time to reach the same number of visitors that they welcomed before Typhoon Yolanda struck. Then we travel past Takloan Island and head to the door of the eastern part of the Philippines. Guiuan City was actually the very first location to get hit when Typhoon Yolanda came ashore. Sulanan Island, which juts into the sea off of Guan City, is a holy place for religious pilgrims. Roman Catholics from all over the world come for blessings from St. Antonio da Padua of Sulanan Church. The enthusiastic pilgrims dress in brown in honor of the saint. The Filipinos also believe that St. Antonio da Padua has the power to bring back lost things, such as repossessed properties, missing persons, and even lost souls. In the recent past, Sulanan Island was struck by a powerful riptide that originated in the Pacific Ocean. So the local islanders firmly believe that this church had a prominent role in preventing the small island of Sulanan from being swallowed up by the massive Pacific Ocean.
Nagpikit, nagpapicture kami ito. Hindi na.
Ada mga milagro nga iyapin papapicture.
Ay, kamo dito. Mamaraya.
Kay gawa sa munda mo ito surban.
It says, yes, they have witnessed a lot of miracles from the church, from the Lord.
Example is
Pwede ka makaistoryahin usa na milagro na
Bisan lan kaagyan niya ng bagyo. Milagro mo ko dito na kay dilubyo ko dito kung bagyo. Sharing pati bagyo.
The best example would be the typhoon because they were protected. The water did not rise that high.
Tapos na amon din yan orasan panahon ng bagyo na matay sa
Among how pila tiyo population?
Sobra butante din ni sobra 3,000.
There are about 3,000 in population and only one perished.
As our journey in the aftermath of Super Typhoon Yolanda comes to an end, we've been profoundly affected by the experiences of our ASEAN neighbors in the Philippines. Spirit of Asia would like to express our deepest sorrow and send our heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of the dead. What we have learned first and foremost from our time here is, despite the incredibly destructive power of Typhoon Yolanda, the faith and determination that a brighter future awaits lives on in the hearts and minds of the people of the Philippines. See you next week on Spirit of Asia.